I'm expressing with my full capabilities, and now I'm living in correctional facilities. Cause some don't agree with how I do this. I get straight meditate like a Buddhist. I'm dropping flavor, my behavior is hereditary. But my technique is very necessary. Blame it on Ice Cube, because he said it get funky. When you got a subject and a predicate, add it on a dope beat, and it... Express Yourself. It's the name of the song by NWA. I grew up listening to them. I guess I'm not that racist, huh, after all? Had lunch with my black friend, too. Wow. Shocking. White people can get along with black people. But the media and these democratic liberal jagoffs out there will tell you that there's a race war going on day after day, because that's what they love to do, start shit. That's why I call them shit starters. So, George Lopez, the comedian, which I don't think he's too much of a comedian, I think he's a fucking asshole. He had a nice little post on Instagram. I'll read it to you, because he's an interesting little fucking character, pea-brain that he is. And I might have to stop and fill in some blanks. He starts off by saying, fuck Donald Trump today, tomorrow, and 3 years from now. And if you voted for him, fuck you today, tomorrow, and 3 years from now. Well, George, I voted for him, and I say fuck you. Because you're a fucking pussy. You're a social justice warrior that likes to type and give his little liberal fucking agenda. You're a fucking piece of shit, an ultimate piece of shit, and I'll get to that. This isn't about patriotism. It's not about the flag. What the fuck is it then? It is about patriotism, and it is about the flag. They're kneeling. Colin Kaepernick's protest was to protest against police brutality. That has nothing to do with our national anthem, you dumb fuck, or our flag. So I'm confused by your fucking comments, because you're a fucking idiot. If you think it is so, you probably thought voting for a guy with zero political experience was a good idea. I want to take that apart too. Zero political experience. Well, George, you fucking genius. What political experience did Barack Obama have? The 1.5-term senator from Chicago, where I'm from, asshole. You want to know what experience he had? Zero, fuckface. That's why our country has been in a fucking shitstorm for 8 years. That's why that's why the Middle East turned into a fucking shitstorm. That's why fucking Russia was doing what Russia wanted to do, and so was China. North Korea was blowing off fucking shooting off fucking rockets left and right, like it was the 4th of July. The stability in the Middle East was broken because of Barack Obama. He fucked that up. He fucked up our foreign affairs all over the fucking world, because he's a fucking idiot, and he had no political experience, you dumb shit. What he did have is a multi-billionaire behind him named George Soros, the puppet master, who controlled Barack like this, you fuckface. It's just, I love reading liberal fucking comments. They're so fucking stupid. We are more divided and have less respect for each other than I can ever remember. Yeah, through the 8 years of Obama, he did that. Because he let fucking criminals do whatever the fuck they wanted to do, and he put restraints on the police from arresting these fucking illegal people that are here illegally. Every other country in the world has a border except us. Are you out of your fucking mind? How about the Canadian border, jagoff? They patrol that. Our southern border is a fucking disgrace. Fuck you, George. You're an idiot. Go ahead, it's easy. But actions speak louder than words. So if you're pissed over at Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch, for sitting, not standing for the national anthem yesterday, then maybe you've forgotten what it's like to have freedom of expression. I was in that stadium yesterday. The country of Mexico came out to support the Raiders and the Patriots, 77,000 of them. They wore the hats and jerseys of two great professional football teams. The way this country turns its back on people, its own people,
People are abused and murdered and rounded up like animals every day, and frankly, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that the office of the president has been reduced to someone hiding behind social media tweets to get his point across. Come out and speak to the American people. He's on the fucking news. Jagoff speaking to the American people every day, you piece of shit. Where do you live, in a fucking bubble, George? You fucking liberal douchebag that you are. Well, you seem to have more to say behind people's backs. Well, I think he thinks you're a fucking jagoff. So I'll let you know that. If you want to be a leader, then lead. If you don't have the courage to do that, then come out and take a knee. It beats hiding in the White House with your head up your ass. George Lopez. This is the jagoff that took a kidney from his wife and then divorced her. That same George Lopez. The ultimate fucking scumbag move. And he wants to tell the president, a billionaire businessman, how to run the country. Yeah, okay, George. George, you should shut the fuck up or move back to Mexico. Don't fucking bother us either way, jagoff. Your opinion and your agenda is your opinion and your agenda. Nobody really gives a fuck. And I think you're the most stupidest motherfucker on the face of this earth. Well, Charlie Rose, fired from CBS and PBS, drops his talk over sexual harassment allegations. Didn't I say a few months back, or a couple months, whatever it's been, once this Weinstein thing blew up, Harvey Weinstein, the shit was going to start rolling downhill? Guess what? It's going to keep rolling downhill because Hollywood is filled with fucking scumbags, liberal jagoffs that will point the finger at conservatives and bitch and complain about them. But when it comes time for them to take responsibility for what they did, silence. Nobody can say anything. Well, I don't feel sorry for Charlie Rose. I always thought he was a piece of shit. So fuck him. That's really all I have to say on him. How about this one? Bill Clinton, sexual misconduct allegations. He was impeached. The reason he was impeached was for lying to Congress, kind of like his wife did. Catching on? Oh, there's our president right now talking, George Lopez. He's on Fox News right now, talking before he gets on Air Force One. You fucking idiot that you are. Bill Clinton, the 42nd president. We forget Juanita Broderick, Kathleen Wiley, Paula Jones. Paula Jones got paid. Monica Lewinsky, sucking his dick. Forget about all that shit, huh? Jennifer Flowers. The former with the lead Lewinsky scandal has been criticized as misconduct by the Clinton, part due to the vast power of imbalance between the president and an intern, even though it was completely consensual. I don't know all about that. But this is the good one here. And all these women, he never came out and apologized, which Hillary Clinton's still asking for Roy Moore, who hasn't been convicted of shit. Allegations, that's all it was. And that fucking signature is a bullshit signature. So, Judge Moore, keep pushing. I wouldn't sit down. I wouldn't fucking take a seat to these pieces of shit. Now, back in the day, one of my favorite persons, where is it? Oh, Gloria Steinem in an open op-ed for the New York feminist icon Gloria Steinem said of Wiley and Jones, Mr. Clinton seems to have made a clumsy sexual pass, then accepted rejection, generally dismissed of other women who came forward with tales of Bill Clinton. Her piece became controversially reflects feminist defense for Clinton. It received no little criticism at the time. Then in the evidence in 2017, in the words of The Atlantic, over time, Steinem's essay had become notorious in that it slut-shamed, victim-blamed, and age-shamed if urged compassion, if gratitude to a man, the woman accused. 2 decades after most of the events questioned, U.S. television program The View, a show that I fucking can't stand, with Joy Behar, referred to Bill Clinton accusers as tramps. Behar apologized for the sexual slur shortly afterwards, because that's what Joy Behar usually has to do, because of her big fucking stupid mouth gets her in trouble because she's a fucking moron. deafening silence after Al Franken. When it comes to allegations of sexual misconduct, Hillary Clinton sees clearly difference between Democrats and Republicans. Don't they all? The former secretary chatted on WABC radio with Rita Cosby in a sweeping Friday afternoon interview, centered on sexual and properties of politics feeding questions of the GOP Senate, Roy Moore, and President Trump, her husband, and Democratic Senator Al Franken. Clinton was quick to lump together Moore, who accused of sexual harassment and assaulting several teenagers, with Trump, who was accused of sexual harassment more than a dozen women. She was also quick to extend the olive branch to Al Franken, her former Senate colleague, who was accused of sexual harassing a female and a radio host in 2006. He's a good friend of mine, and I deeply regret what he did. There's no excuse for his behavior, and has called for an investigation and apologized to women, Clinton said. Look at the contrast between Al Franken accepting responsibility, apologizing, and Roy Moore and Donald Trump, who have never did neither. And neither did Blowjob Bill, your fucking husband. Blowjob Bill never said anything and never apologized to any of these women. You fucking enabling piece of shit that you are. You're a fucking scumbag. She continued, there's double standards. The Republican deny, divert, and get their way because, it's such bullshit. She's such a narcissistic motherfucker that this is what she does. God, I can't stand liberals. They're such fucking hypocrite cocksuckers. Clinton also pushed back against Democratic Christine Gillibrand. Christine Gillibrand is the senator who took Hillary Clinton's seat. The Clintons put her in there. She took their money, the Clinton money, to get into the seat, to get elected. And now that she knows that the Clintons can't do shit and they're going down and they're burning fast, the plane is dropping, it's on fire. It's in a spiral heading straight for the earth to go fucking nose first. She threw Bill Clinton underneath the bus and said he should have stepped down for his sex scandals involving the White House intern, Monica Lewinsky. Only 30 years later. That was a painful time in our marriage, Clinton said, referring to the impeachment of her husband in 1999. But it was investigated fully. It was trusted at the time. He was held accountable. That is the difference between people seem to be remembering from that period. Oh, silly Hillary. She's so cute. Well, let's not forget this one. Like I said, the shitstorm is continuing. Al Franken. Deafening silence for Al Franken. No more fucking Twitter jokes on Twitter, huh, Al? You piece of shit. Groping that Tweeden while she's sleeping. What a fucking scumbag. Now, Franken stands accused not only of quick kissing and groping women in 2006, but also grabbing other women's butts while she was taking a picture with him in 2010. What is Franken, a high-profile Democratic senator from Minnesota, and someone mentioned as a potential 2020 presidential candidate? Are you fucking kidding me? This guy's a fucking creep. Yeah, we want him in the White House. We want another Bill Clinton in there. Let's get Al, the fucking idiot. How this guy got elected in Minnesota is beyond me, but, that's Minnesota's problem. Tweeden's accusations of Franken kissed her without her consent. Yeah, the guy's a piece of shit. I don't even want to talk about him anymore, give him the fucking time of day, because this guy's just a piece of fucking dog shit. Fucking has-been. Another has-been. Kind of like Snoop Dogg. Kind of like Marshawn Lynch. What do you got, Marshawn? Another year or two? Want to sell some jerseys? You're a fucking idiot. Anybody that fucking sits for the national anthem, that stands for the Mexican national anthem, you're a piece of fucking dog shit. And Roger Goodell, if I was the owners of the NFL, like Jerry Jones is doing, I would be calling for his resignation. Immediately. He could have stopped this like that, but he didn't. You want to know why? Because he's a liberal scumbag, and he'd rather lose millions and millions of dollars for the NFL, I guess. Not only that, Roger Goodell wants a new contract, 5 years, $200 million. He also threw in there he wanted a private jet for life. The balls on this guy. What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit. And I always have some closing statements, but let's not forget Oliver Stone. who sexually harassed actress Melissa Gilbert claimed that the director Oliver Stone sexually harassed her during an audition for his 1991 film The Doors. At first, Gilbert was told her story without naming any names. She kept the accusations very anonymous, saying that she was humiliated during an audition because she had embarrassed him in a social situation. Gilbert ended up running out of the room crying. I was actually sitting here telling you this story, afraid to say his name because I'm worried about the backlash, she said in an interview. Fuck them. Backlash my ass. You know what? It's about time these fucking pieces of shit in Hollywood and in our fucking Congress have gotten exposed for this fucking idiotic, degenerate fucking behavior. It's disgusting. And you know what? Political correctness in this country is an all-time high. And Obama did that. He failed. He failed the American people for 8 years because he couldn't control anything. That's what happened. Sorry that the truth hurts. But George Lopez, you fucking moron, you want to talk about Donald Trump not having any political experience? Barack Obama had no political experience at all to run this fucking country. And what he did for 8 years is divide it for 8 years. He divided this country like it's never been before. Black Lives Matter started under him, Jagoff. Why didn't they ever march at the fucking White House with him? Their half-black president, who actually I don't even think was born in this fucking this country. I still haven't seen a fucking real birth certificate. That's the funny part. Well, I told you, as I did say, this was going to be a shitstorm, and it is fucking flowing downhill. That's for sure. I mean, if you look at the Clintons, I mean, how long are we going to keep taking it from the Clintons? Let me ask you a question. How does the Clinton Foundation get $145 million in donations from foreign countries in the Middle East? You're telling me that they just donated? They didn't want anything? Like Eric Trump said, nobody gives out millions of dollars without wanting something in return. That's for sure. Why was Bill Clinton getting fucking $500,000 to $1 million for speeches in Russia? You want to know what? Want to know why? It's called Uranium One, fuckface liberal jagoffs out there. They sold 20% of our goddamn uranium to Russia, and there's a paper trail linking back to here. You fucking idiots. God, liberalism is a mental disorder, and Ronald Reagan hit it on the balls fucking 30 some years ago. Liberalism is a mental disorder. And one of my favorite pieces of shit to talk about is Linda Sarsour, this Muslim piece of shit. She had an announcement at a conference in Massachusetts at Mount Holyoke College has been edited to remove language exclusively inviting those who self-identify as women of color to register. Could you imagine if we had something at a college that was just for white women? Like Kramer said, imagine if we had WET, White Entertainment Television. Holy shit, would the people go up in arms. BET's around, Black Entertainment, that's okay. The Women of Color Trailblazer Leadership Conference scheduled for April was permit only, including white individuals. Scheduled for April will permit only. Oh, anyone. Will permit anyone, including white individuals. Age 4 and up interested in the program featuring keynote speaker Linda Sarsour. This piece of shit. Carmen Perez, the co-founder of the National Women's March in Washington, D.C., I think there was like 300 of them out there. While the conference is... Oh, and Harvey Weinstein was out there with his fucking little pink fucking hat on, that piece of shit pedophile scumbag. He was probably looking for his next predator. Or his next prey, because he is the predator, I'm sorry. While the conference is being held, primarily organized for students of color, and more than 50% of our students are domestic students of color, and international students, the entire community and public are encouraged to attend this conference. The keynote event, whatever, fuck that, has nothing to do. Free bacon in your email. The entire event was always, hold on, where's this fucking jag off it? Sassor, who is passionately an anti-Israel, has been widely criticized for the remarks perceived as anti-Semitic. She has, I mean, fuck, if you're a white guy saying this shit, you'd be hung. Praised National Vincent leader Louis Farrakhan, that fucking psychopath, says nothing is creepier than Zionism, and has reportedly lumped pro-Israel individuals together with white supremacists and neo-Nazis. Most recently, Anti-Defamation League CEO Jonathan Greenblatt knocked the New School of New York for hosting a panel discussion on modern anti-Semitism featuring Sassor. Oh, she's a real treat, this one. She's a real treat. And she thinks Sharia law should be fucking brought to America. Unbeknownst to her, Sharia law, she's a second-class citizen in Sharia law. That means if I'm a guy and I'm married to her, I can beat the living fuck out of her, rape her, do whatever the fuck I want to her. Because that's what they do in Middle Eastern countries. The same countries that were donating to Hillary Clinton, the promoter of women's rights and activists for empowering women, took $150 million from countries that keep women as second-class citizens and treat them like pieces of shit. Also, kill gays and lesbians. So, interesting point of view, isn't it? Makes sense, doesn't it? You getting it? And you fuckos that put fucking comments on my fucking YouTube, you fucking liberal jagoffs, if you think for a second that I give a flying fuck what you have to say, you're out of your fucking mind. It's called Facebook control. It's called Twitter control. It's called YouTube control. They only want you to hear what they want you to hear. Conservatives, they don't want talking. But liberal assholes, they'll let them talk all day like George Lopez, that piece of shit. The guy who took a kidney from his wife and then divorced her. That's the piece of shit that I'm talking about. So, you guys be happy to express yourself. We all have that First Amendment right.
Some suckers just tickle me pink to my stomach because they don't flow like this one. You know what? I won't hesitate to
That's from Mark Twattenberg from Facebook. I'm expressing myself, Mark Twattenberg. Go fuck yourself.
Makes it a cappella.
George Lopez.
I still express
Fuck
you, I
you
don't
too.
smoke weed or sex. Cause it's known to give a brother brain damage. And brain damage on the mic don't manage nothing but making a sucker.